All right, so here we have multiculturalism. I'm sorry, I'm sure I'll mess that word up a few times in this. Multiculturalism and Immigration in the United Kingdom by myself, Davarian Rousseau. Okay, sorry, I gotta get used to this app here. But we'll start this off with a little quote that I found in our own book. A mongrel half-breed race there came, with neither name nor nation, speech nor fame. And those hot veins new mixtures quickly ran, and fused betwixt a Saxon and a Dane. This is taken from an excerpt by Daniel Defoe, and it kind of links to the the UK's own attitude as they themselves are kind of a breed of different cultures, and so it goes along with their attitude that they are a little more culturally accepting than a lot of countries in Europe. All right, so let's start off with the ethnicities in England via the 2011 census. We have white British, which makes up 80.5% of the entire population. White other, which is 4.5%. That would include, I believe, Irish and German and others. Um, Indian, which is 2.5%. Pakistani, 2%. Black, African, and Caribbean, 2.9%. White Irish, 0.9%. Chinese, 0.7%. And then other category, all other races combined, is 6%. Um, they like to call the Indian, Pakistani, and I didn't have listed here, but Bangladeshi, another pretty big significant culture in Great Britain. They like to list them as British Asians. All right, so the multicultural population. The UK's population has increased by 3.1 million within 10 years. 55% of this 3.1 million increase was attributed mostly to net migration, making the total population 56.1 million. In the UK, the multicultural population is 7.5 million, 2.5 million from within Europe, and 5 million coming from other parts of the world. There's estimated that 2 million illegal immigrants make their home in the UK. A pretty significant number, if you ask me. This increase, 3.1 million increase over the last 10 years, with over half being from with that being from outside of the United Kingdom, is shows that a significant increase in immigration. I'll let you check this slide out for a little bit. All right, and here's the chart that diagrams the rising population in the United Kingdom. We see pretty steady growth, and then it picks up a little bit at the end, heading into a more modern time. Um, we'll get to this a little bit later, but the lack in growth between 1971 and 1981 could partially be attributed to a policy that we're going to go over later. So I don't want to spoil it for now. London immigration. London, of course, is the largest city in the United Kingdom, and therefore it is very significant. As far as the multicultural sphere in the United Kingdom, this is the hub. This is where a lot of people from outside of the United Kingdom make their home. London is the economic powerhouse of the United Kingdom and naturally draws in the vast majority of immigrants, as I just said. Sections of London, such as Tower Hamlets and Newham, experienced the largest immigration influx. 59.8% of London's population is white, while 18.4% is Asian and 13.3% is black. Now, if we go back a few slides, I don't want to do it just because I don't feel like messing with success here. That 18.4% Asian number is a significantly higher number than the United Kingdom as a whole. Much like our own America, a lot of Minorities are found in the larger cities, and this is definitely true for the United Kingdom as well. And along with that 18.4% number, the 13.3% being black is also a significant increase compared to the overall country. According to the 2011 census, 36% of London's population is foreign born. To take that into account, 1 out of every 3 people that are now residing in London were not born in the United Kingdom. London has the highest foreign-born population in the world, with nearly 3 million of its citizens born abroad. This foreign-born population, this comes from comparing it to other cities across the world. Attitude towards immigration and multiculturalism. In general, the UK has a relaxed attitude towards ethnic groups. Now, this hasn't always been the case. Based on my research, that there has been a bit of a the argument amongst the conservatives who favor tighter immigration laws, just as this is the same thing here in the United States, and they've always been opposing viewpoints on immigration. Not to say that they're completely tolerant, but in general they are very tolerant. A 2013 survey said that 70% of the British are in favor of being a multicultural society. And I believe that same survey said that over 90% of England believes that they are successfully multicultural. There were very few no detentions before the second half of the 20th century. A little foreshadowing over what we'll discuss later. A significant speech called The River of Blood. As in many European countries, there was the Alien Acts of 1905 and 1919, which was pretty significantly anti-Semitic. But the fascists never really got a hold in the United Kingdom, so it kind of died. Attitudes continued. The British believe their own native population sprouted from intermingling with other European countries. That kind of connects to the quote that we kicked this whole thing off with. Even those traditionally against multiculturalism, which would be the mainstream conservatives, 71% believe that the United Kingdom is successfully multicultural. Anne-Marie Jeanette's study on attitude towards immigration shows improvement from as recent as 2002. In this survey, they had from 2002 to 2010, and I guess that they did it every year, annually. And it was over 95,000 participants. And on a scale of 1 to 10, they would say whether they believe immigration positively affects the economy. And in this survey, Britain received an average of 4.7 over the 8 years, and it rose each year by an average of 0.29 points. All right, now we get to the infamous Rivers of Blood speech. It was one of the most controversial speeches of the 20th century, given by Enoch Powell. Powell originally referred to it as the Birmingham speech, but his use of Rivers of Blood in the speech and the fact that it was so controversial and some people viewed it as hateful, that fact, excuse me, that fact led to it being referred to as Rivers of Blood. Powell believed that vast immigration would make the native Englishman feel like a stranger in his own country. So as you imagine, it was firmly anti-immigration speech. We have a quote from the Rivers of Blood. The tragic and interactable phenomenon, which we watch with horror on the other side of the Atlantic, but which there is interwoven with the history and existence of the States itself, is coming upon us here by our own volition and our own neglect. Indeed, it has all but come. In numerical terms, it will be of American proportions long before the end of the century. I found this to be interesting because, it deals with our own country. Sorry, I had to pause my presentation 1 second. All right. So, as I was reading that quote, it dealt with America, and so I felt, it was fairly relevant. We might want to pay attention to it. Um, while delivering this speech, Powell had not notified the conservative central office of his intentions, and because of this, he was fired from his position in the shadow cabinet by leader Edward Heath. Now, this was in 1968, so attitudes toward immigration and multiculturalism have changed, as we discussed earlier. Um, in the days following, numerous strikes, both supporting and opposing Powell's speech, erupted all over London. Powell received 43,000 letters supporting his speech and only 800 in opposition, and this clearly shows the support from the public. Even today, the phrase Enoch was right is used to criticize political correctness, racial quotas, immigration, and multiculturalism. Also, there was the Immigration Act of 1971, and it introduced the concept still used today in the United Kingdom, the right to abode. And the right to abode allows those with ancestral connections to the United Kingdom to settle anywhere within the UK. Um, the Immigration Act was also very controversial. It tightly restricted the ability of Commonwealth immigrants to permanently reside in the United Kingdom, namely people of color. And a lot of people thought it was very discriminatory. And it ended post-war immigration surge from the West Indies and Pakistan. After the war, immigration was needed because there was a bunch of open jobs, and a lot of the immigrants from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and the West Indies were those who took those jobs. This is a chart showing relative information comparing the UK to other large countries, and Europe shows UK as basically being par for the course as far as the percentage of the population being foreign born. Indiana, Indian, Pakistani, and Bangladeshi, as well as Africans, are among the largest multicultural groups in the United Kingdom, and they were all part of the Commonwealth of Nations, formerly part of the British Empire. And the Commonwealth of Nations is a voluntary membership organization. It's a lot of these British Asians are those who report experiencing racism and opposition. And here's a slight list of my references, not including our own book. And this has been Multiculturalism and Immigration in the United Kingdom by Davarian Rousseau. Hope you enjoyed.